Hi everybody, it's Stacey from Head to Heels, and I just want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Today I hit 420 subscribers, so that means I'm going to take you through my roll in a doobie ritual. So we're talking bikes, lubes, and doobs today. You think you can handle it? So first thing I like to do when I get home is, of course, I don't like putting it away, but I do. And then I like to put on a nice, comfy pair of lubes before I roll my doobs. I'm gonna start with these jobbies today, the Oil Slick Pigalle Folies. I had to wear my lapel mic today, so please ignore my wires. Oh dear. And I've worked all day, so my feet are definitely swollen and have seen better days, so sorry, not sorry. Ha ha. Ooh. Oh, I broke my nail. I just broke my nail. It's no good. Alrighty, here we are in my backyard. Welcome to my humble abode. Let's get started on these doobs, shall we? First, I like to take my little tray here. Got my whole little ritual right here. Oh my God, I forgot a lighter. Oh my God, I forgot a lighter. I'm gonna have to call a husband. Give me a second while I call a husband. Matt, it's me. I forgot my lighter. Please help. I love you, husband. All right, so lighter on the way. Christ is over it. Today I've got myself some beautiful purple OG Kush. Oh, is there anything better than the smell of doobies? Smell of buds. I got my handy dandy Zeus grinder, my favorite, best grinder I've had, and thank you. Thank you. Where did it go? Guys, where did the lighter go? He tossed it, he threw it, it's out here. Oh my goodness, it went way over the cliff. Jeez Louise, you'd think he was a freaking quarterback or, I don't know nothing about football. You'd think he was one of the guys that throws really far. That was uncalled for. I had to go around the shed. God dang it. All right. To it. So yes, my purple OG bud. Whoop whoop. There was wind. I got my Zeus grinder, which I've had for years and years. It's very caked up. If you have any tips on how to clean these, please send them along. I usually only kind of scrape it out with my pocket knife when it's jammed up, like when I can't turn it anymore. So it's like super sticky and I'm like, So when the sticky is too icky, I will clean my butt grinder. And I normally just scoop out the little THC crystals in the middle section, which is where the weed falls through once you grind it. And then on the bottom, let's see if I can get this off, even more crystals fall through. This is like the hidden compartment. It's fantastic. I scraped that recently, as you can tell. All right, so I got my Zeus grinder. I got my Elements 70 millimeter roller. Some people find these hard to use. I love it because most of the time I've got like fake fingernails and they're super long, so it's really hard to roll a joint. This takes that away. And then today I've got OCB premium papers at the 70 mil length, And normally when I can, I get the silver Rizlas. Those are my absolute favorites, but in a pinch, the OCBs burn really nicely and they're not too papery. And these are the greatest fucking thing ever. DLX Deluxe Rolling Tips. It's just perforated white card. No ripping up cigarette packages, no ripping up your papers. These things come already. Boom. Just rip and roll. So I'm actually going to roll that second because first I'm going to grind up my bud. I'm putting that Zeus to work. Work it. Work it. Work it. All right. Ooh, yeah. 420 people watch me. That's crazy. I know in the grand scheme of the whole entire world, that's not a whole lot of people, but for a small town girl from New Glasgow, this is a pretty big friggin' deal. All right, so we got the top emptied out there. Then we'll empty the middle. And boom. Fluffs up so nice. They were very tight buds, so when I broke them up, I got lots. That'll do me for a couple of nights. I won't have to grind tomorrow. Another great thing about the DLX is they have this nice long cardboard that I like to use for scooping. So with the Elements, the Elements roller, I like to get my filter rolled and put it in first. It's almost impossible to get a filter in the joint after you've rolled it in this, so it's very important that you roll it together. I learned that eventually. So, and you can see there's little arrows here that show you which way to roll it. So when I close it up, I'm going to be rolling it in towards me. Doesn't matter which end you put your filter on. I've only ever accidentally rolled cones in this thing, so you probably can roll a cone, and that placement of the filter would be important in that scenario. But as for right now, of course, the wind blows right when I'm dumping the weed. All right. Scrape it. See how it went over top of the filter? I'm just going to take my nail and scrape it down. There we go. Pack it in and then close her up. Oh, there goes my papier. So in the wind, don't get everything ready first, I guess would be the moral of this story. And so you put the paper inside, so I hold it so that the arrows are facing me, and then the glue is also facing me. You put it in the little crevice here. Boom, boom, boom. Get in there, and then you roll towards you. Roll towards you, and then once it grabs, lick it like a lollipop. All right, there we go. A perfectly rolled doobie, the size of a cigarette. Okay, so my doobie is rolled. Now it's time for the fun part, smoking it. I've been smoking marijuana since, I think the first time I smoked weed was when I was 16. I'd gotten my first job at Wendy's, and I was there only a couple of weeks, and I was fired for not being a Wendy's person, which is just crazy. I'm like the most chipper person, most friendly person you're ever gonna meet, like way too friendly, almost annoyingly friendly, okay? But anyway, I was 16 and they fired me, and I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time I didn't really like it there anyway. So across the road was the mall, so I went to the mall and I met up with some guys that were at school with me, and we went around to the woods behind the mall, and that's when I smoked my first marijuana product, I guess. It was, I don't think there was weed in the joint. I think it was just tobacco with oil on the paper. And let me tell you, it was awesome. I've not looked back since. I love marijuana. It keeps me focused. If I don't have it, I'm all over the place. I'll start a bunch of tasks and never finish any of them. But if I smoke a joint, I sit at one task and I finish it, and then I move on to the next. It just slows my brain down so I can prioritize, which is crazy. I know people think, oh, stoners, oh, they don't contribute anything, they're lazy bums. There are some people, I believe they choose to be like that, or they were like that before. I am a doer, and I get overwhelmed when my brain's going crazy the way it does. And that's why I get everything started, but I don't finish anything. So without further ado, that's my favorite line. I don't know if you guys noticed. So yeah, this is my motorcycle. His name is Reginald. It's spelled R-E-D-G-I-N-A-L-D, so that I can call him Reggie, and it will be like edgy, but with an R. So yeah, I like to play with words sometimes, just like that. It is a dirty bitch at the moment, I have to say. It's a Triumph Street Cup 900cc. They made it only for 2 years. So this is the 2017, the first year it was in production, and last year, 2019, was the last year they made it. I guess that would be 3 years, wouldn't it? But yeah, no 2020, so I got a limited edition bike. It's awesome. It's basically, if you're familiar with motorcycles, a street twin, but set up a little differently with the cowl at the back for cafe racer style look. It sits a little lower in the front, and the seat is a bit different. But you can buy the cowl to put on to the street twin, and a lot of the accessories for the street twin fit on the street cup. So I have a set of bars that just sit a little differently. These are cafe bars. They're very low. My stance is very aggressive. If I had no core muscles, it would be a very difficult motorcycle to ride, because all your weight would be on your wrists and in your shoulders, which sucks. So really, when I'm riding, I'm squeezing with my thighs around the tank, and I have my core engaged, and there's little to no weight on my hands. Basically, I generally actually ride one-handed, just one hand on the throttle. I really wish I had cruise control like my husband does. Look at me, too much yak and not enough smoking. Maybe I should put on another pair of shoes, I think while we're doing doobs, I'll do another set of loops. Hack, very sexy, I know. And these are my, pardon me. These are my Christian Louboutin Piguels, just straight up Piguel, not Piguel Foley, just Piguel. They are probably the most comfortable of all of them. I enjoy them greatly. And they're more fun, they're so fun, look at them. They're like spiky, which makes them dangerous, plus the color is crazy. You can't not see these unless you're goddamn colorblind or blind, straight up. You'd probably even notice them if you're colorblind, let's be honest. What I find interesting about them is the color of the actual shoe, like the leather, is coral, but the spikes are orange. Orange. Oh yeah. Oh, it's nice to be able to sit down and smoke a joint with you. Maybe you have cider too. I do. That's a grapefruit cider by Growers. They're Canadian out of Ontario. So fucking good. Growers cider. Oh, their stone fruit one is amazing. I could live off that shit. If that was like the only thing I could ever drink again, well, I would miss White Russians. How about summertime? I go with the stone fruit cider. Wintertime, I go for White Russians. For a long time, I was a wino, and it used to be white wine in the summer and red wine in the winter. For a little while I was sober, so for 8 years it was Sprite in the summer and root beer in the winter. Anyway, after getting fired from Wendy's, I went on to work for several years at McDonald's, and I was very, very good at my job. And have I been fired since? Been a mutual leaving, we'll call it. Me and this woman just did not get along. And she was trying to fire me. I was like, listen, I know what you're going to say, and I'm not happy here either. And I left. And that was when I was in my early 20s. And then actually the year I turned 40, so 2 summers ago, I actually walked out of a job. It was amazing. I highly recommend doing it. It was very empowering. It's something everybody should do once. Just say, you know what, fuck you. I don't need to take this. The money ain't worth it. Not that I was getting paid a lot anyway. It was actually quite low. So anyway, it was at an optometry clinic, and I was going to be a receptionist, and the system was crazy. There was like 10 doctors, and they all had their own set of booking rules and things that they did, specialties and blah, blah, blah. And the woman teaching me was terrible and mean, and I talked to her about it, and I tried to quit the week before I walked out, and she's like, no, take the weekend, chill out, and come back, and we'll try it again next week, and maybe it'll work out, you know, I know you can do it. And I'm like, you're such a bitch that I don't think you think I can. So anyway, I did go back on Monday, and it was okay. On Tuesday it was kind of gross, and on Wednesday I called in sick and ended up going on 2 interviews. And then on Thursday I went to work, and I got there, and one of the people called and said I'd gotten hired from the interview. And so I was already at work. I was in the lunchroom. I had conversations with people, and I cleaned out my locker, and I walked out without a word. It was incredible. And as I was walking out, the song on my phone was David Allan Coe's Take This Job and Shove It. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. That's, you know, it's not something I put on my resume, but you gotta know that you're worth it sometimes. You gotta do what's best for you. Money's not gonna help when you hate life. That's what I've learned in my 42 years. Do what makes you happy, and the money will come, and you will get what you need as long as you're trying and being a good person. That's my message for the day. Probably the weed talking. Neighbors. Do. So in Nova Scotia, the weather in May is generally cold and rainy and gross, and you just want it all to stop, and you can't wait till July for when summer hits, because June's hit and miss as well. But fuck man, it's been nice here since the end of March. I think we got a couple of boats of snow and a little bit of, you know, a couple spells of rain, but overall, like, the weather we've had here in Nova Scotia this year, phenomenal. Some of the best I've had. If every year could be like it is this year. Like, what's it today? 23? Unheard of. We've had snowstorms in May, like craziness. We've had frosts in July. It's nuts. I need to paint my toes big time. But I'm doing a thing and you'll see it soon. We've done a lot of work in our yard this year. I don't know if you can see behind me the kind of shape it's in, but man, we've done a lot of digging and we found a lot of rocks and we built a patio and oh, wow, these actually went on easily tonight. That's amazing. Oh my God, this is the first time I haven't had to struggle getting these on. Without any chapstick or band-aids, guys. This is crazy. There's a hornet buzzing around me. It's scary as fuck. Yes, indeed. So I've been back to work. This is my 3rd week back to work. It's not too bad. I was very excited to go back and they eased us in, so I had to only do like 10 to 2, 10 to 3 for the first week and a half, and then now it's 9 to 5. Monday to Friday, which isn't terrible. It was nice. Everybody was in the office today, which well, maybe I'll sit on my bike. Oh. I don't know if you guys heard that, but a kid just went by. She's like, and you know the number one thing I like is trees. That's pretty cute. Starting to rain. I got a little splash on me. I love riding this thing. I had a Sportster, a 1200 Sportster before this, Harley Davidson. It was big and heavy. It sounded nice. I give it that. It sounded good. But everything else, it did the job, and I enjoyed it while I had it. But now that I've got my Triumph Street Cup, I couldn't be happier. Honestly, it's lighter, it's just nice. It's just a nice bike. It's well built. I'm pleased with my purchase. You can say I'm a happy camper. Maybe I'll fire it up for you here because I'm about to say goodbye. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again, and 420 plus subscribers. Like, frig. I didn't think this would happen till like July, honestly. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope you continue to enjoy my videos. If you really, really like me, you can visit me at Head to Heels on Reddit and Instagram. And I also have a Patreon page and an Amazon wish list, and the links to those are below. I want to thank you all, and I love you, and happy 420. Neutral. You always want it in neutral.